Ready to go!
Alrighty, ladies and gents, welcome to another breakdown video. This one is coming at the request of you guys from YouTube. You've asked for my technical breakdown of my match that I had with Ryan the Mint with Scott just last weekend. So we're going to go through that today and also ask the very important question of where does this leave Ryan Scott? What next for him? Where is he in the ranks? What to from here? So let's have a look at the match now. Like I said, it was probably my most significant victory in my arm wrestling history. Ryan has been a very dominant arm wrestler in the Oceanic region, particularly in Australia over the last 8 years. People like Devin Larratt, Ron Barth, Lars Barkan have an immense amount of respect for him. He's taken a round off Ron when he's had his Supermatch. He's got a winning record over Ben Carroll, over Lachlan Adair. I think he's 50-50 with Big Mato Warangi Heta Morris from New Zealand. He's a killer, and he was rightfully very firmly perched at the top of the Australian ranks until now. But anyway, let's have a look at the match. Let's break it down technically. I'll tell you what I was thinking going into each round and how I executed each of the movements that I went through, and we'll go from there. All right, here is the match. Alright, so this moment in the match here is about testing my hand right here. All this ginning around prior, it was all about seeing where my hand was at, where Ryan's grabbing me, I'm grabbing him, and it's, can you keep a dominant hand position? I knew the match was not going to start like that, but this was all about assessing where is my hand relative to Ryan's. It was critical information for developing the strategy in the match. Now, once I'm happy with that balance, it's off to the ref's grip, and yeah, we'll see what happens. So Luke Ramponi, the den ref's going to step up in a moment and put us in the ref's grip. And let me press pause for a second. Really critical thing this first start. Ryan is an Andre Pushkar style arm wrestler. He's a Travis Bajan style arm wrestler. What I mean by that is he is someone that likes wrist height. He is someone that likes direct side pressure. He comes crashing down from a great height with a big, strong wrist, good wrist rise, great wrist flexion are his weapons. For me, it was all about getting a stop. But first thing first in my mind right now was protect your pronation, protect your rise, and first of all, just see where this goes. I was intending on getting the slip into the strap, but like I said, Ryan came out with the look in his eye. He had the killer instinct right now, and he's going to come crashing down. So let's see if I can survive. There is the slip. Now, the referees, some people might ask the question, was that a slip in a losing position or anything like that? The referees deliberate over it for a moment. Ryan looks to them like, what are you going to call? The correct call was made and that it was a slip, and the reason that is the case is there is no losing position foul if your hand and fist is maintained. If you're bailing like this, then yes, it's going to be a foul, but I keep my hand closed, I keep my pronation strong, and the slip happens about 1.5 inches from the pin pad. And in from there, no foul, into the straps we go. So got the slip that I needed now going into the straps. I'm going to press pause and tell you about what I was thinking here. Now, as I was saying, Ryan Scott comes crashing down hard. For me, the objective was to simply get the match stopped. If Ryan turned me palm up, I was going to be in big trouble. I had to keep my pronation intact. I was happy for my hand to go in this direction, but I was not happy for my palm to be turned over. So you'll see by the posture of the way I am there, I'm pushing my shoulder forward. Okay, the top of my shoulder, I'm pushing forward, and I'm imagining a chain between my wrist and my shoulder to link there. I'm visualizing that and protecting that. I'm pronating through my thumb and hand, and I'm squeezing my bicep and brachialis tight, locking that, keep making the chain an entire unit and protecting that. I'm okay for this to go. That is the door that I'm giving to Ryan and hoping that he goes through that way. This is what I must protect. If I get the stop, I feel like I can move on. And this is essentially what I was thinking right now. So let's have a look how it goes. All right, there's the exact what I hoped it would happen. Ryan, side pressure opens up my hand and the fingers that way, but my pronation survives. My side pressure becomes the stop for him. As he then comes forward, I return into the hook, and then from there, it's my domain. Like I said, Ryan Scott is not a slow puller. He's a come crash down hard on you puller. If he doesn't get that pin or doesn't compromise your hand and wrist in the first surge, then he's generally in trouble. I love being in the hook right now, so this is one-way traffic from here. All right, I get away with an elbow foul there, but look, to be honest, it wouldn't have mattered. I was very much in control. At this point in the match, I knew I couldn't lose. After that match, I thought, well, it's done. It's pretty much done and dusted. What I felt there, I was not in trouble. So going into round 2, it was a decision that I made that I wanted to experiment and challenge myself. I wanted to see if I could pin Ryan out of straps. Now, in this video, I edited out a lot of the initial negotiations and grip ups and that. And what you would have seen if I had that in there was me gripping a little lower at first and testing to see if I was confident enough to hold on low out of straps. I wasn't. I felt like, oh, I don't know if I can get it. I didn't want to take the risk of just being crushed and flash pinned. So I ended up coming up high again. But still, my intent was to not slip here. I didn't want to slip. I wanted to get control, and I wanted to ultimately force a hook. So let's see what happens. All right, so I start with the top roll, but instead of going through with the slip, you can see now I've got my fingers on top, and I'm looking to re-grip and climb. Now, I could have chosen to go for an exploding hand technique here to keep my knuckles on top and then start moving forward, but I really wanted this to end in a hook, so I decided to go for the hook. Let's have a look at it unfold. Okay, right there you'll see that I initiate that. Okay, we were doing this finger climbing and then I initiate a supination and I put it into a hook. The one problem with the hook that I'm in is I'm above his wrist. Okay, you'll see there that his wrist is free. That means his pronation is free. To hook someone purely up there against their hand, it's not a good position to be in for a hooker. You need a lot of superior strength to be able to contain that. But anyway, this is how confident I was that I thought, yeah, let's go for it. Let's set the hook. Look, from this position, if I had have slid down, if I had have voluntarily slid down his hand and wrist a bit, kind of into a dad move, I probably would have had control from here. But where I was up high in the hand, I try to force the hook and get control, but you'll see that Ryan Scott's pronation is going to come through in a moment. So let's watch that. There goes the pronation. He's got access to side pressure then. I'm in a shitty position and it's all over. 1-1. All right, so going into round 3, it was a return to, all right, just do what you know needs to be done to win. My confidence still right here was 100% certain that I was going to win the match. I felt safe, very safe. So in this round, this is a clinical round. This is the round where I said to myself, all right, no mucking around, no experimenting, do exactly what you need to do to be dominant. And so for me, in my mind right now, that was top roll, slip, straps, hook. All right, so you can see the same method I've got with my shoulder forward at the moment. I'm locking the imaginary chain between my wrist and shoulder. I'm protecting my hand and wrist. I'm gonna back pressure pronate, keep my knuckles high, and the slip's gonna happen. And there we go, off to the straps. Now in the straps, my intent before we sit here is just a flat out hook. I'm no longer scared about the initiation pressures from Ryan. I feel like I'm the stronger man. I am simply gonna supinate and cup and force the hook. There's the hook, in we go. One-way traffic. Now, Ryan hurts his shoulder as I pin him here. I pull through and he's a little crunch, crunch, crunch in his shoulder. It was comfortable for me, but Ryan, not the hooker, was never gonna be a chance. But anyway, round 4, here we go. A little bit of the same. I was thinking about trying to get a pin again out of straps. I was not gonna grip low, but I was like, hold on for a little bit more, see if there's some containment. If there is, cool, take it. If there's not, slip. So I wanted to be able to pin out of straps. I thought that would be the icing on the cake if I could pin out of straps. So I hold on for a bit, but then Ryan dumps and pronates off the straps. Now going into this final round in the straps, it was again a little bit of experimentation. I was happy to try a few different things and just see where things go. The grip I took in this one was largely just let Ryan take what he wants and see where things go. Ryan took a much higher grip in my hand, so the hook was not really available. I was like, okay, do I top roll or hook? I honestly felt so confident that I was just like, cool, just this is okay. I don't mind being in a grip that I wouldn't normally be happy with. Let's just see what happens. So that's where we are. I'll let this one play out and we'll see what happens. So from this grip, I go to initiate with some cup. My wrist goes back. Now from here, Ryan Scott looks like he's in the commanding position, but I felt really good. I felt great. I was like, no, just jam up and side pressure jamming and wait till you get access to his bicep. Once you feel his bicep start to open up, then drive through. So Ryan Scott there. That right there is the closest moment Ryan gets to victory. Again, side pressure and jamming pressure. My fingers are intact. Believe it or not, my pronation is still intact here. I feel really confident here. I'm a long way from being pinned. Happily jamming, waiting for his bicep to start to open, and then I'll commit my shoulder. And there you go. You see my shoulder starting to come forward. I'm feeling his bicep starting to gas. Press play again. There we go. Now, a bit of an elbow foul from Ryan, cheeky one. And there we go. Now, you can see I'm now shoulder behind. I'm on his bicep. The match is only seconds away from being finished. I wanted to quickly address the break arm position that a number of people have commented saying, Ryan, isn't that a break arm position? Okay, there's a couple of reasons why it's not. Look, first of all, please don't go to this position if you're a novice or an amateur arm wrestler. Only experienced pros should be attempting this arm wrestling style. The reason this is safe for me and it's not a break arm position for me is I have a very good understanding of the elastic limits of my opponent. I can feel where he's at. Where this position is super dangerous would be if I couldn't sense how much elastic pressure my opponent has. If I didn't know he was at his limits and couldn't feel that his limits were already there, if he had the ability to just freely hit, yeah, it'd be pretty nasty. But I can feel his limits, and in conjunction with that, I have a very good understanding of my own elastic limits. Plus, my fingers are actually intact. My pronation is intact. When you get turned pronation fully up, that's when it starts to get risky. But I'm actually well and truly in control here. There's nothing really risky at all in my opinion. But like I said, please don't go here if you're a novice or an amateur. Spend a lot of time doing your fundamentals before you get here. But anyway, back to this match. You're about to see me drive through, open up the bicep, and get the victory. And there it is. Yeah, that's a pin. Thank you, Anmol Sandhu, who's the man from India, if you're wondering who's in that outro. But guys, answering the question now, what does this mean for Ryan Scott, the Milkman? He was, like I said, he was the number one. He was the dominant guy in Australia, had been for a long time. And now he loses to me in a pretty convincing fashion. Having gripped up with Mario Timbakis recently, having seen what Brett Coots did to Mario, knowing where Lachlan's at, I honestly give it that Ryan Scott is now number 6. And I don't mean that in any bad way. I just mean that's where, realistically, where I would put him in the ranks right now. I have Lachlan, Ben Carroll, and myself as the top 3. Yet to be determined who sits where. Then I have Brett Coots at number 4, Mario Timbakis at number 5, and then Ryan Scott at number 6. Ryan Scott will come back from this, I'm sure of it. It just shows that he maybe lost a bit of his mojo during the coronavirus, didn't have as many people to train with without the dedicated schedule of tournaments throughout the year. He hasn't had the competition, and the progress has kind of been halted for him a bit. Where I've been training like a madman with Lachlan, and the progress has continued, so it kind of shows, but I'm sure he'll be back. I'm sure Ryan the Milkman Scott will be back. Can't wait. We've got the comp later in this year, November, over the top 2. I'm sure he'll be back in good form then. But yeah, guys, that is it, the technical breakdown of that match. Thank you guys for requesting it. I enjoyed getting into my thoughts and showing you guys what I was thinking there. And for me, from here, it's all about a match with either Ben Carroll, Lachlan Adair, or Brett Coots. They're the 3 guys that I'd like to face within Australia. And then Matteo Warangi, Hector Morris from New Zealand. When he's ready and the borders are open too, would love the match. But anyway, guys, hope you're well. Yeah, see you again soon.
Yeah, that's a man!